ado,
let's talk about some small business stuff.
Yeah, small business trials and tribulations.
Trials and tribulations.
The main part of this video comes from someone we listen to a lot.
Yeah.
His podcast, we listen to Gary Vaynerchuk a lot. We watch him on Instagram. I listen to his podcast. I don't know if you do. If you are into creativity, marketing, running a business, being an entrepreneur, being an executive, making ads, doing anything that has anything to do with reaching people on social media, he is like the guru. The Gary V Audio Experience is his podcast, and then Gary V at Gary V whatever. So he said, if you want to put out content to find new followers that your current followers wouldn't like.
Yeah.
So this is us putting out a little bit of content that maybe everybody who just wants to buy action figures isn't really going to care about too much. So,
but you'll learn some valuable lessons. The whole idea of a small business is that you kind of get to do your own thing. Small business
is tough.
It's fucking hard.
It is.
It's really hard.
Officially, we started full-time in 2010. There was such a workload, and we both lost our jobs. That do we go and get other jobs and manage this workload, or do we just do this full-time? So we decided to do this full-time. And about a year after we really got the website going and really started...
So that was like, so we started it full-time. It was still... And then we started the website pretty much and kicked that into gear right then.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
We were going to toy shows.
Yeah.
And we were doing a lot of purchases online because we had moved about 50% eBay, 50% web store.
Right.
And we had a customer want to use a Visa gift card. And
on the website.
We went in and unchecked the box on the credit card processing for the CVV match, which is that 3-digit code or a code that you put in using a credit card. And in order to take gift cards, we had to uncheck that. And for whatever reason, it escaped our mind to go back in and recheck it. And then what happened? And
then we started getting some really good orders. We started seeing more business. We started seeing more overseas business. The numbers went up. We were selling high-end product. A lot of the Hot Toys. This was back when I think like the Hot Toys DX stuff, like DX Batman, so DX01, DX02, DX03, and during that time period. And we were selling figures for $500, $600. We had some high-end customers, we thought, overseas. It was from Indonesia. Mm-hmm.
They were almost all the orders were from Indonesia, and Brian would actually go out onto eBay and specifically buy something like a Joker DX or a Batman or the Batpod or whatever was out to then turn around and put it on the website, hoping that these new high-end customers in Indonesia would buy it, and they did. And it was...
And they did. And they bought every high-end figure that I had.
Yeah.
And
sales were awesome.
Sales were great.
And it was like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months of really awesome sales. Mm-hmm. And then in December of 2011, mm-hmm. we started getting notices from our credit card processing company about chargebacks. And we got all this paperwork, and all of the chargebacks were this high-end product. And it totaled over $30,000.
Yeah.
$30,000.
$30,000 is a lot of money nowadays.
Yeah, and it was a
fuck ton of money.
It was
back then.
Yeah, it was a lot. So all these chargebacks, there was 2 or 3 a day that started coming in. Oh man, a month, 2. It was like 2 or 3 months that all that 2 or 3 months of purchases, all of a sudden this chargeback started coming in. They were almost all credit cards from Canada that were stolen in Indonesia and then used by people in Indonesia to purchase all this high-end product. So at that point, we were not only out the money because the bank was wanting to take all of that money back out of our bank account, but we were also out all this product that went to Indonesia and probably ended up at a flea market somewhere. So.
Yeah, no, I bet they sold it back to people on eBay.
They might have. So what happened?
So moral of the story, we still didn't even know what happened. So we didn't know why this was happening. Nobody could answer a question. I mean, we got the runaround from the banks, we got the runaround from the credit card processor, and nobody could tell us specifically what happened. So Yeah. Anyway.
It was only later when we double checked our settings that somebody said, oh, you're supposed to have this CCV box checked. And I mean, completely our fault that we forgot to recheck it or thought that it was necessary at the time. So what happened was we owed what, 10,000. We owed about 10,000 in chargebacks, and we had
this is just one time.
One time.
So this is what's coming in the next couple weeks, because we started this, like, we saw one chargeback, we're like, what the hell, right?
Yeah.
That's a shitty thing. Then we started to see multiple chargebacks. Then we started to see everything that we made go out the door and just get sucked out of our bank account. And we're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So they wanted, well, at the time we owed 10,000. They wanted to ping our bank account for it. It wasn't there.
Right.
So we called the credit card processing company and made an agreement to give them the 10,000, which was most likely coming out of our savings account.
Right.
And they would pay the chargebacks
out of that 10,000.
Out of that 10,000. And what actually happened is they took the 10,000 and put it as a reserve to hold for future chargebacks, and then still demanded.
Then still we're taking money out of the account.
Another 10,000.
We got totally hosed on that.
Yeah. So it's just a really harsh, super harsh small business lesson that we learned. And for about 6 months there, it was
the worst time
well,
we've ever
and
had.
it was daily worry about whether or not we were even going to be able to keep the business going.
Yeah.
Questions about whether to turn it back into a hobby and sort of roll it in and start it again small. Whether or not I was going to go back to work. Whether or not
that was just not a good time.
It was not a good
super,
time.
super shitty. And then my mom passed away right when those chargebacks started hitting.
Yeah. So he was in California at the funeral, on the phone, pacing around the pool at his mom's house.
Fucking credit card companies. Yeah.
Talking to credit card companies about all these chargebacks. It was probably the worst time.
Worst time we've ever had.
Yeah.
But we're still here.
Yeah.
And that's what's important. You know, we could have totally packed it up and put it away and left and not had this anymore. But,
yeah,
you know, this is we kind of built this thing and we wanted to see it succeed and we pushed forward. And we still do that. But small business owner, it's great. There's so many great aspects of it. But you're constantly learning. And the way you learn in this business especially is you completely fuck shit up and then you have to fix it. And hopefully you learn from those mistakes. But we continue to make them.
Oh, yeah.
But we're getting better at handling them. We just wanted to tell you guys.
Yeah.
We're awesome.
We're awesome, or they're awesome?
You're awesome.
You're awesome.
I know.
They're awesome.
Thank you.
And maybe somebody new who's watching this who has never seen our videos before.
Or the website. What if they're just watching it and they don't know about us?
Anything about us. See?
That's nice. Tell them where they can look at us.
BlackOpsToys.com. And if you want to see more of these kinds of videos, smash the subscribe button.
Bump some uglies.
With the subscribe button and ring the bell.
Ring that bell.
To get notified of new content. Alrighty.
Alright.
Good job. Sit up straight. My mom always said, sit up straight, suck in your belly. Like you're holding an apple on the top of your head.
I look like an alien. Look at that.
I never went to finishing school. No, don't do that. That's terrible. Okay, stop.